Okay, so I have a function here, 5 over x, that happens to be continuous at x equals 4, so we can very easily find the slope of the tangent line without any problems here using limits. So the first thing we need to do is to identify our fixed point, which is going to be when x is 4. So the fixed point is going to be the x value of 4, and the y value is going to be what you get when you plug 4 into the function, 5 over 4. The mobile point that's going to involve h is going to be, well, the x value for the mobile point is going to be h more than this x value, so it'd be 4 plus h. And now, since this point is also on this function or this curve, the y value would be what you get when you plug this x value into the function. So you've got 5 over 4 plus h as your y value here. So now we can find the secant slope. The secant slope is, since both of these form the secant line, these 2 points are on the secant line, it's going to be the difference in the y's divided by the difference in the x's. So I'm going to take 5 over 4 plus h, this y value, minus this y value, 5/4, divided by this x value minus this x value. Okay? And so you can see that your denominator here is actually going to be h. But more importantly, we're going to go ahead and do the tangent slope. The tangent slope is what you get when you let h approach 0 in the secant slope. So the tangent slope is the limit as h approaches 0 of this slope right here. So now we have to evaluate this limit and we will be done. So let's try that. So, this involves quite a bit of algebra here. Well, the first thing I notice, I already mentioned it once, is that the denominator here simplifies to be h. Now I've got to think about how to work on the top. One way to work on the top is to get a common denominator between these two fractions. So I'd multiply the top and the bottom of this first fraction by 4, and the top and the bottom of the second fraction by 4 plus h. Because the common denominator is 4 times 4 plus h. So we end up with 20 over 4 times 4 plus h minus 5 times the quantity 4 plus h over 4 times 4 plus h. Notice the way I wrote this, I didn't distribute my 5 here because I'm going to take care of this negative in the next step. You have to be really careful with these negatives. So when you combine these, you end up with 20 minus 5 times the quantity 4 plus h all over 4 times 4 plus h, and all of that is over h. Okay? And so now you can see that this negative 5, the negative distributes with the 5 through here, so that's pretty important. Okay, so you end up with the limit as h approaches 0 of 20 minus 20. Those are going to cancel. So now when I distribute negative 5 to the h, I just end up with negative 5h on top over 4 times 4 plus h. And now instead of dividing by h, I'm going to multiply this whole thing by the reciprocal of h, 1 over h, just so it's easier to work with. And in doing so, we can see that this h cancels with this h. And so now we end up with this limit, the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 5 over 4 times the quantity 4 plus h. And now we can literally plug the 0 in because nothing strange happens. And so on top I have negative 5. On bottom I end up with 4 times 4 plus 0, that's 4. So that is negative 5/16. So the slope of the tangent line to this curve at this point x equals 4 is negative 5/16.